Jennifer from the Worcester branch of the Wayne County Public Library, and in today's Tuesday Crafternoon, I would like to show you how to make a hand-stitched card to celebrate tea time with a friend. So this will be our June take and make kit for the hand-stitched cards, and what it's going to involve is there will be a pattern in the pack. You're also going to need your cardstock, and remember we do an 8.5 by 11 sheet cut in half and then each bit folded. This one already has the pattern punched out, but you will need an awl or beading awl to do the punching. You will also need needle, scissors, tape, and your flosses. You can choose any color you want for the teapot and cups. I've got blue, but you'll also want a little bit of white for the steam coming off the cups and a bit of brown for the tea. So, with all of that, let's get started. Now, if you watched the last hand-stitched card videos, I have come up with a new terminology for doing some of these stitches that I hope will help to simplify my explanations. We'll see. We're going to use two of those stitches today, and the first one is what I'm calling the half and half, and that's when you've got a shape like this cup where if you find the midpoint at the top and at the bottom, you can basically divide this into two equal sides with the same number of holes on each side. And what you're going to do is you start at the top middle one, cross over to the bottom middle one, and then you're working your way around clockwise and getting this crossover effect. This is going to work for the cups, the saucers, and every bit of the teapot and cups basically, except the handles. The handles are then going to be a different stitch, and we'll get to that in a bit. But I'm going to start with the first cup, and since I've already got my pattern punched out, I'm going to start here. I'll turn that around. The top center hole. And remember, as always, we do not make knots to hold the thread in place. We use tape. Why? It keeps it a little bit flatter. I mean, it's not going to be perfectly flat when you've got all of these threads crossing over each other in the front, but it's pretty darn close. Okay, so you can see this top middle hole. I've got 4 holes on either side, and I'm going to go down to the middle one here on the bottom, which should be this one. Yeah. And I'll just pull that through. And then I want to come up the next hole going clockwise and cross back over to the next hole clockwise from the top. And you're just going to go back and forth, crossing over the middle until all the holes have filled. So once you get into that rhythm, it's pretty easy. You just have to make sure you can see where your pattern is going, especially with this one where you've got a couple of other elements bumping into it. Then I'll just go through and fill that in. If you're wondering, I am only using 2 strands of embroidery floss for this pattern. You can use 3, which is what I used on this card, and you can see it's a little more filled in, a little bit thicker. So you can decide what works best for you. I'm not going to come to your house and check on you. You decide what you want to do. Either way will work. Oops, you know what? I don't think I come up that hole. Sometimes you just have to stop and make sure, check with your pattern to see for sure what you're doing. Because hey, sometimes I get it wrong too. All right, so that fills in the bowl of the cup. And now I'm just going to go one hole over because the center bottom hole for the top part of the cup is the center top hole for the saucer. So I'm going from here right across to there. And again, I'm just going to work my way around clockwise for the saucer. It does join the cup for a few dots here at the top. So you'll want to be mindful of that. All right, I think that's about it for that. Nope, I can do one more. Let's squeeze one more in. All right. Now I'll come to the back and tape that down. Trim the end. And I have the next one ready to go. I like to be prepared. All right, so I'll tape that end down. And we'll keep going, filling in the saucer part. Sometimes you've just got to gently brush aside the floss to find your hole. Because with these really long stitches going from side to side, you get some of those holes covered up, but just take your time. You can find them. And one more. Let's see, that goes to that hole. All right. So what I'm going to do is work my way back up here to do the cup handle. And I'm starting with that second hole from the top of the bowl of the cup. So I'm just going to come up to here. And this is where we've got the second stitch to learn. This one I'm calling the reach, because what we're doing is you come up your first hole, and in this case we're going to reach forward 4 holes and go down. And then come up the next hole, and we reach back the same number of holes, so back 4 holes. And each time you're just moving 1 hole ahead, but otherwise doing that same number for your reach pattern. And that keeps advancing your stitch around this curve. The reach is the one we do to create that sense of curve and thickness for things like the cup handles, the teapot handle, or these swirls of steam coming up from the cup. So we've just got a couple more stitches. If I can find the hole. There we go. And we want to join it back up to the cup. And there you go. That's one cup finished. So I will go ahead and tape that end down. And trim that. And I'll be back in a moment to do the steam. Now, to make the curls of steam coming up from this first cup, we're going to use the reach again, and this time we're reaching just 3 holes. So we've got 2 separate curls, and I'm going to start with the first one. I'll go ahead and tape that one down. So this first one is going to come to the right and around, and the second one goes to the left and around. We'll just work them together. So 1, 2, 3. Up the next and back 3. Up the next and forward 3. Up the next and back 3. So that's our first curl, and then I'm going to come over to this hole, and we're going to go around this way. So forward 3, forward 1, back 3, ahead 1, oops, I have to take a moment to rethread that. Okay, forward 3, move ahead 1, and go back 3, and so on until we finish up this particular curl of steam. It's really kind of nice how just a little detail like this adds a bit of vitality to the scene here, instead of just having the cups. Get that nice little sense of the tea is hot. Let's sit down and have a cup. All right, so I'll go ahead and tape that down, trim this. And now what I want to do is jump to the teapot, because you're going to know how to do this second teacup already. It's almost exactly the same as this one. But the teapot we have to do in sections. So let's pull this over. The body of the teapot is 1 half and half. The base is half and half. The lid is half and half, and the knob is half and half. So each one of those you'll have to do with a half and half stitch so everything crosses over in the middle. The spout is also half and half, but because it's an odd shape, it's really kind of tricky to figure it out, which is why I've got that detailed a little better in the pattern. And the handle, we go back to the reach again. So what I'm going to do here, I don't know if I want to do the entire teapot because that's going to take a bit of time. Let me go ahead and do the spout, maybe the lid and handle, and then the lid and the knob and then the handle, just so you've got a feel for it. But you're going to do the body and the base of it the same as you would the cup and the saucer, okay? So for the spout, we're going to start right where the top of it joins the body of the teapot. And we'll tape that down. Maybe. It just wants to stick on my finger instead. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, this is coming over to the hole right here in this little bend of the spout. You can kind of see it better here. It comes in before it curves around back to the body. So we're going to just go from this top one where it joins to this bottom one in the middle. And as always, we're going to work it clockwise. And this is going to join up with the body of the teapot all along the side here. Now, because it's an odd shape, as it fills in, that crossing over is going to look a little bit awkward. But just think of it this way. You don't want your spout to be so fragile you're afraid it'll fall off in your teacup, right? You want it to be substantial so it can hold up to the weight of the tea pouring out. It's always good to approach these cards with a sense of imagination, I think. Oops, next one. And then we're going to move to this one. So we're moving away from the teapot itself, I mean the body of it. Now, I see I have made an error in the pattern, and I will have to correct that because we've got all of these holes filled up here, but I've still got one hole down here. So for this, I'm just going to come back to the first hole and cross over to that. I will try and get that fixed before I have these kits available for pickup. But if I forget, that's one way you can fix it. Just kind of jerry-rig it, I guess. Fake it till you make it, right? We do our best here. So I'm going to come over here and start then with the lid. And I've come to the bottom center hole first, going up to the top center hole. You can do it either way. You just want to go from center to center to get started. And like I said, again, we've got the half and half going. All right, so for this, it's only connecting to these three here at the base of the knob. It always helps to refer back to the pattern or to the picture of a finished card so that you can see when you've got all of these holes, it's sometimes tricky to figure out where do you go next. Come on. Here we go. So it's always helpful to double check as you're stitching just to make sure you're getting the pattern right. It's easy to get lulled by the rhythm of some of these stitches and then just kind of miss your cue as to where you're supposed to change up or make that turn or how you're connecting one part to another. Believe me, I have done it more times than I can count, so don't feel bad if it happens to you. All right, I think I can do one more stitch and come back over. And we'll just pick up where we left off. Take that down, and we'll keep on going. Oh, that's frustrating when I do it. I get taped down, but it's not taped securely enough so that the first stitch pops right out. Let's try it again. All right. Fingers crossed. Darn it, that happened again. Somewhere I am missing an extra hole. So I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to fake one here. It's not quite right, but I'll make it work. And then finish that up. All right, now I'll come back up this top hole. And this knob will just, again, we're doing half and half and going around. It would go a little more quickly this time. that's the lid with the knob. Now, I want to come down here and start on the handle. So I want to come to this, it's the second hole down from where the lid stops. And for this one, we are going, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are reaching ahead 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And forward 1 and back 7. And join back up to the body of the teapot and one last stitch. Okay, I will go ahead and tape that off. All right, like I said, since you know how to do the cup and the saucer, you can figure out how to do the body and the base of the teapot. Not a problem. For the tea, the last little bit, we are going to start actually from the bottom and work our way back up. So I want to start here right at the middle of the top of this teacup. All right. And for this, I think we're going to reach 5. Yeah, and this is going to be a little funny. Shoot. Let's do that again. All right, so we'll go up 5. And the thing that's going to be a little bit different about this reach is, if you can see here, it's actually coming from a couple of holes here on the spout, because usually the way your tea pours out is you've got a little more here at the top, the fluid flowing into one stream going into your cup. So we're going to try and recreate that effect with the stitching. So far this is basic reach. Come on. And that's my last empty hole here in this curve, and I'm joining it to the middle of the teapot. But what I'm going to do is also come down to the bottom of the teapot spout. Come on, there we go. And I will come back, we'll count this as one hole and then do that reach back 5 and join it there. So you see it looks a little bit forked up here, but that just gives you the impression that there's more fluid coming out and it's just joining into the one stream. It's just a little artistic touch that I wanted to add in. All right, so those are the basics for doing the tea time card. I'm not finishing it up because this has gone on long enough, I'm sure, and you can figure out the basics from that. Like I said, this will be our June Take and Make card kit. And what I'm doing starting in June is these will be first come, first serve. I'm not doing a registration list for it because so many people have wanted to get these, but if they get on the list too late, then they may not get a kit. So I wanted to make sure everybody's got a chance. And what I'm asking is for people to pick up just one kit per family because we want to make these go as far as possible. I don't want to try and make a ton of kits and then not have them all get picked up, you know. So I will have those for you. I don't remember which Monday in June, but I will add it to the description below. And if you do miss out on them, I will put the pattern and instructions in the notebook at the reference desk so you can always just get that much at least. I do keep the instructions and patterns for back kits as well. So if there's one you missed, you can stop by and ask and we can get a copy made for you. In the meantime, I hope you'll get a chance to give this one a try and stay healthy, be kind, and get creative. Bye.